What up, guys? Coach Jimmy here. Today we're going to talk about a lot of things.
Run! Coming like a Hellcat.
Number one, being my Coach Jimmy series, we're going to change it up. I'm not just going to be talking straight to the camera all the time. We're going to put the gym in the background some. We're going to talk about some roles. We're going to get in with like how to treat your training partners and get you guys to understanding like why our gym is set apart and why our gym is the way that it is. We don't have to worry about people like hurting one another because of the way that we train and roll. Anyway, that's going to be changing on that. We got the schedule down for our podcast. The new episode will be up on Spotify every single Friday morning, and the YouTube will air every single Thursday at 9:15. So that's the schedule. The new ones they'll premiere or whatever on YouTube at 9:15 p.m. Thursday, and the new ones the same one will air the next day on Spotify. If you don't want to watch the video, it'll be on the Spotify under Tech Talk. Anyway, today I got Bam Bam and Taylor.
As usual.
As usual.
Yep. Back to what you're talking about, your Coach Jimmy stuff with the gym in the background. So you're actually going to show like rolls and stuff?
Yeah. So I have the security camera footage that's 4K, right, and I can zoom in and watch rolls from that. But also, we have this camera right here. This camera is connected to a Mars 300, so it's wireless. And I'm going to start having that camera on the mat, and I'm going to pick some people, set it up, let it record, and then I'm going to talk about some of that stuff, some of the stuff that's happening.
I think this could be awesome because you can show like, all right, guys, being a good training partner, this is what you don't do. You see what he did right here? We don't do that shit. This is bad etiquette.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be cool because I haven't learned how yet, but we got Trevor. We introduced Trevor on the podcast. It's like tonight. That one is airing tonight. It's premiered tonight with Trevor. So you guys actually met Trevor the night that we're recording this podcast. But anyway, Trevor is editing some of the testimonials and stuff for our web pages that everybody gave. Like we had a bunch of people give real testimonies and stuff.
Was that the videos?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's editing some little clip together. Whatever he does with it, I'm cool. We got our new intro. It's not new. It's the one that we had before, that run. And it's like, run like a Hellcat. And it says Tech Center. Well, we're going to change the center to talk. So it'll say Tech Talk. And that'll pop up at the beginning of every episode. I'm playing with the idea of putting it to one of these buttons over here. Like, because these buttons make sounds. Yeah. And I would never use those. But I would use it as an intro. So when I record this, I could just hit that. It'll pop up. We just wait a second. And then we talk like normal. And it'll show up on the Spotify and the Apple Store and all that, or Apple Music. It'll show up, and I won't have to edit anything. I just upload it.
I see you putting some of the common sayings, like we have inside jokes here at the gym, and you put them on there like, I do what I want, or rub some Epsom salt on it, and you just have it there and you hit it.
Proper violence.
Controlled
chaos.
Controlled chaos. Proper violence.
Like,
rub some Epsom salt in it. Epsom salt.
Like, I do what I want.
I'm a purple belt. I do what I want. Who? Was it Troy that started that one?
Yeah.
I'm a purple belt. I do what I want.
That one and line it up in a circle.
Line it up in a circle. My man. I love Troy.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, those would be cool to have on there. Like we could just randomly just hit it, line it up in a circle. Another thing that I am going to do, I'm going to record that train.
Yes.
Because when that train comes through, it's natural. Well, if it don't come through, in the podcast, I'm gonna hit the button because it's gonna be a train. It's just gonna be a random thing that we have to do, I guess.
Gotcha.
Because it comes through almost every single time we decide to do a podcast. It really hadn't the last 2 times though.
Yeah, but it does at nighttime. Like it's the regular schedule for it to come late at night sometime because that's when we usually record these. Is after we get done training at night.
Yeah. Speaking of, I have started like trying to train hard again and push my body.
How you feel?
Sore. I'm not. I am actually like sore. Like I worked out. I have not felt sore in probably 5 years, like from working out. I get tired every night or whatever. I push myself every single night to get tired, but I've actually been pushing past that and like carrying weight and doing things from guard again and like really like working to the point that I'm gassed and exhausted. Like exhausted, and I haven't been doing that. I haven't done that in a long time because I haven't felt good.
Yeah.
And I still don't feel good, but man, it feels good to feel sore. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I mean, that's all I can say. It makes sense to me.
I get sore all the time, so I don't understand what you're talking
I don't
about.
really get sore from jiu-jitsu anymore or push myself like the cardio stuff, but like lifting weights when I do a new exercise or I hit like a personal best, like I'm sore the next day.
Didn't you hit a personal best today?
I did with squats. I just did like I ain't gonna say the weight. Heavy weight is relative, and it was heavy to me. And I hit
That's all that
I
matters.
hit a personal best on it, so I'm happy.
Good. That's all that matters.
Dadgum. I got sore from walking around Disney World, so.
Yeah. And so I don't usually like I roll every night. I probably. What would you guys say? Like I don't miss very many nights if I miss a night. But how long do you guys think I roll normally? Like even in the last 5 years, like how many rounds do you think I actually would roll?
I don't know. Usually you last longer than me, and I know I roll usually an hour. I feel like it's an hour because we in class.
I don't know if it's that long. Is it?
8:15, and I know it's usually close to 9:15, 9:30 when I'm done. Usually, the norm.
It probably doesn't feel like that, though, because we don't change partners as, like, routinely as we should. So you probably end up rolling with the same partner for a while.
Exactly. Like last night I rolled. I didn't roll quite an hour. I want to say it's more like 45 minutes. I only had like 3 partners because we rolled, 3 or 4 songs apiece. So.
Well, I feel like I've been rolling harder lately. Maybe I'm just pushing myself in different ways. I honestly don't know. I know I am pushing myself in different ways because like now I'm allowing people to gain position. I let everyone pass in the last 3 or 4 days, and then I've worked back to guard or work back to top. As soon as I get back to top, I go back to bottom, and I've been working dip set from lockdown, and I've been working the baby bridge and using the baby bridge to get to candy cane or lockdown, which a lot of you guys don't know what that is, but jiu-jitsu terms for like hooking a leg or locking a leg down or getting a good, proper posture while you're on bottom. And I have been working that a lot. So maybe that's why I'm sore. But I feel like I've been pushing myself to exhaustion when usually I'm rolling to conserve energy and just kind of get on top and make people carry my weight.
I feel like that's what I'm doing because I don't remember last time I rolled to exhaustion. Like, I don't know, like, actually pushing myself to being tired. Like, I kind of just, I match the level of whoever I'm rolling with because we have people with different skill levels and experience. So I just, the level they put out, that's just what I match. And I'm comfortable enough now where I'm at where I play a lot of defense, so I'm just working around them. And unless it's someone like you that's pushing me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean,
I try to push everybody that I roll with, but in a manner that they can handle it.
right.
I don't want I don't want to push them till they break. And Taylor was giving me shit a minute ago about rolling with one of our new guys, and she was like, "Oh, you know, I look over and you got him in a submission or whatever, and then another submission, and then another submission." And I was like, "No, it's relative, because you can tell, kinda. Sometimes people put on a persona, and they're too tough for their own good." Like they break themselves down to where it's not fun for them to come. And you have to be very vigilant to notice if you're doing that to someone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to be very vigilant about recognizing that. And I feel like I was. But yeah, he was brand new. Like it was his, second day?
Second day.
And I know that I go plotted him and like armbarred and triangled him. And the rest of the time, I was just letting him be on top and, like, moving around. And I just kept getting back to certain positions for me to submit and then letting go and just playing the game. But he wrestled in high school. He run track in college. He wrestled some, but he wasn't on the wrestling team, but he wrestled some. And that's what got him wanting to be back in here was wrestling. And wrestlers are tough, dude. You know, like, I think that when you have to kind of use your own measuring stick when it comes to how hard to be with somebody, but also that's not something that I would normally do to somebody. But I felt like when I tested this guy's metal, like he's the real deal. Like he could be like Jay, and Jay, I could push Jay as hard as I want. He'll tap and start over. I push Jay as hard as I want to, as long as I'm not injuring Jay, which I would never do. I would never try to pull on something or tug on something enough to, you know what I'm saying, cause someone to struggle in that manner.
I was just saying, like I agree. Once you get, like I'm no way comparing myself to you. You have way more experience than I do. But after you do get some type of base knowledge and some experience, you can kind of fill it out and see how someone new coming in, where they fall at and how hard you can push them.
Yeah, and that's basically what I was saying. I was basically saying that, sorry, I was playing with the buttons. I was basically saying that I felt like I seen where this guy was. And
could push him a little bit harder than someone else that had just walked through the door.
Yeah, and also, dude, you are really good. Like, don't say I'm not comparing myself. You don't, no one, I feel like sometimes there's too much respect given for that type of thing or whatever, because you never feel, so I'm going to be honest. So this is like, I'm not going to say arrogance coming out of me or whatever, but this is kind of like me kind of putting it out there into the world or whatever. Like, I've been doing this a long time, and it wasn't until recently that I started realizing like how far ahead I am. Because I just kept climbing until there's no one around the elites, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not anybody. There's so many levels to this that there's guys that would just smash me and treat me like I'm a brand new white belt. You know what I mean? There is guys out there that are like that. But I feel like that I am so far ahead of your normal everyday practitioner that is, as far as the understanding and the details of what makes it work and why, I honestly, and that's his ego, I guess, but I don't feel like there's a lot of people that truly understand it the way that I understand it. There's a lot of people that can do it better than me. There's a lot of people that can perform competitively better, but I don't think there's a lot of people that can coach it or teach it or even like break it down the way or in the manner that in which I do. And that sounds ego. That sounds like it comes from ego, but I take pride in what I do. I make sure that what I'm teaching works, and I make sure that what I'm trying to accomplish, it does the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I actually do this, or I know a guy that uses this in competition that's whatever. We get on here and we talk about the things that I've done and the things that we do, and my pedigree isn't deep. Like, I've been training for 20 years now, but my pedigree isn't deep. Like, I haven't done but a handful of jiu-jitsu competitions and actually tested my mettle against that. But I've had guys go and place at almost every division. Wyatt's out there right now. He's competed every weekend for the last 6 weekends, five to 6 weekends. Yeah, and won. Hasn't lost, knock on wood. Hasn't even come close to losing any of his matches. And then he's going to go test his medal, and he's just a blue belt. And he competed against brown belts and black belts in the last 5 to 6 weekends, and no one's even giving him a hard time. He's going to go do the PGF this time, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people coming from our school and coming from what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I truly believe that I have a unique ability to do this, and that sounds arrogant, but it is what it is. I've been doing this, and I wanted to be the best at it for a long time, and not the best competitor, so to speak. And I'm not trying to put myself on the level with the greats as far as that goes. But I feel like as far as coaching goes and getting stuff across and having my guys be able to perform, I think that I think we got it figured out as far as that goes, of how to get that across and get that done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Does that sound bad for me to say it that way? Or like, because it sounds bad hearing me say it out loud, like, oh, that dude's an arrogant douche or whatever. But it's kind of like, this is my profession, and this is what I've always wanted to do since I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And, let's see.
It was a lot to respond to.
It is.
Yeah.
You ramble sometimes. Like, your understanding of a lot of the positions and moves, I'm trying to get there. I have good basic understanding, but some of it like comes with experience. Like, you do it, the more you do it and you train, like I'm here, 5-6 days a week. Some of it comes without you knowing. Like you just said, yeah, your phone, sir. Like you just said, when I said I can't compare myself to you, and you said, like, you're good, you shouldn't compare yourself, like, you don't realize how good you are. You don't. Like, some of the stuff, you do it so often, practicing it 5-6 days a week, you don't realize how good you're getting. And, like, I had a little, like, personal pride moment, like, made me feel good, like a personal victory in the adult class that I run this week. Because I remember doing this with you, like, when you would teach us a move and walk around and we would drill it and we would ask you something, you would show us on each other just in our partners. Like, man, it feels so much tighter than like what my partner was doing to me. And someone said that to me, like, when I was walking around working with different pairs, I did the move to them to break down smaller details, and they were like, that's so much tighter than what we were doing. Not even meaning to, just showing them the move that I was teaching that night, and they were just like, that's so much tighter. And I was like, okay. I taught it the way I was doing it, and I just didn't know that mine was like that. Does that make sense? Like, and it was a personal moment, like a personal video, like, hey, thank you. And it was more than one person that said that, and I'm like, hey, I'll take that personal victory. Chalk it up.
Makes y'all giddy and happy.
It did make me happy. And then, like, I'm trying to understand it more, and like when you've been teaching, and you pick at me, give me a hard time, like, damn, purple belt, and I know you're picking at me, but I, like, when you're teaching it, and I'll ask, like, well, could you go here? I just want to know, like, is that what you do? Like, if they don't give you this one, could you go here too? And you give me an answer, you pick at me like, damn, purple belt questions. Like, we're not doing that tonight. We're going this way. But I just want to know, like, my wheels are turning, and I just want to know, like, well, could I go that way? Well, that's all. But I was going to say, too, like, you don't know you're getting good. Taylor's where I was at, like, a year ago. when y'all were picking on me, like, man, you're a bully. You're bullying people. She's had a couple people say she's the bully now. I'm like, how's it feel?
Mr. Mel calls me out every time he's here. Every single time. I wasn't even choking anybody. I had a triangle, letting her figure out how to get out of it. And Mr. Mel's on the other side of the map. Matt bully, I told you were a bully.
That's what that feels like. Just so you know.
That's it.
That's what I was going through a year ago when y'all calling me that.
That's hilarious.
Well,
it's not fun, is it?
it's not, but it does kind of give you like oh man, like I know enough that I can be a bully because it took me forever to reach that point. I'm one of the smallest ones. It's usually, or up until recently, I was the only girl, like other than our teenagers. Mm-hmm. But so I was never really able to be a bully. So now that I'm moving and doing things differently and I end up in positions, I have to go, oh crap, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's funny is like you had like trying to realize like, oh, I'm making life extremely miserable for this person right now. Because to you, you just feel like you're doing good and you're like, oh, I'm on top, I'm holding them down. And you like, and then you look down and you realize like, oh my God, this person is drowning. Like, I'm so sorry. I did not realize I was drowning you.
Man, the first time that I ever realized that, I almost left crying. I don't know if you remember that or not, but it was a person that when I very first started, I rolled with them and I got smashed. Like it was one of the most memorable rolls. I just remember being held down and just frustrated because I couldn't move. Well, this person took a little hiatus and came back and I rolled with them. And in my brain, I was like, this person's going to murder me again. Like, I have to be ready because that's what happened the last time they were there. And so I was ready. I was like, all right, here we go. And about 30 seconds in, I was smashing this person without realizing it. And I went, I'm so sorry. I didn't say that out loud because I didn't want to demoralize anybody. But I was like, oh, man. Like, and I immediately changed tones. And I remember coming to the back and talking to Jimmy. I was like, oh, I feel so bad. I was like, I don't think they're coming back. Like, this was our chance to get them back. And I was mean. And I felt so bad about it because I didn't realize I was being mean until I was halfway in it. Oh, it still hurts my feelings to think about.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I remember it and I was like, oof. Because, I mean, the way that works out is like, okay. If you step away for any amount of time and then you try to come back, you got to resharpen your tools. Mm-hmm. I was talking to somebody about that today. I actually did a Coach Jimmy on it today. I got to edit it and post it tonight to respond. But they asked a question. They was like, hey, I moved around a little bit this last couple of years. I haven't trained as much. I'm a purple belt. I find it hard to pass blue belts guards. I'm finding it hard to finish chokes and stuff, and I'm a little embarrassed because, I'm a purple belt. I should be able to do these things. And I'm like, the belt don't matter. I don't even think I said that. I'm like, first of all, like, that's coming from a place of ego, right? Like, I'm a purple belt. I should be able to beat you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not how it works. That was the first thing. And then the second thing is like, no, you're not showing up in this blue belt. Like, these blue belts, they're tough. How often are they showing up? How often are you showing up? Like, how rusty are your tools? How much effort have you put in since you've gotten your purple belt? Because this is a skill that will deteriorate over a period of time. You will start missing your timing and missing steps. And if you don't practice regularly, you will get left behind. And I know that coming back from injuries. Like when I was training with my regular guys, like, man, until they got injured or until they got lazy and quit coming or until something clicked, it took me a little bit to start getting the edge again. And that's another reason I like the way we train, though, because that don't happen to us a lot here. Like we have that, the balance or whatever, but we're not training so hard that that we're making people drown very often. And if we are making them drown, we realize it, you know, a couple minutes in or a couple or 30 seconds is what you said. It usually takes me a little bit more because I'm flowy anyway. Like, everybody I roll with is not past my guard. Like, everybody I roll with, and I just pop them back to guard or sweep them and then roll back to my back and let them pass again because I want them to find success in guard passing. That's what we've been doing for the month now. I want them to kind of say, oh, see, you would have finished this pass, but my knee come in because you didn't fold yourself in half or whatever. So, like, it's teachable moments, right? And it's fun for me because I'm learning how to re-guard on guys that are truly trying to pass and use the stuff that they've been learning for the last month. Anyway, it's awesome to see everybody growing and stuff. And I was saying what I was saying not to be arrogant and be like, oh, I'm so good. I was saying earlier, it's like, I didn't realize how good I had gotten. Like, I didn't realize.
Back to what we were talking about. You don't realize it. Like,
Yeah.
it sneaks up on you.
Yeah, and now I'm like, oh, I'm really good. Like, when other brown belts are coming in and other black belts are coming into the school and stuff, like, and I'm rolling with them and it's super competitive, or it's like each movement and everything that's happening is like so small. Like, that's the micro movements matter so much, and then it's so slow to me, and I'm just moving and ending up in these good positions, and it's like you got these guys that are supposed to be super high level, and I'm just like moving and like rolling like I do with my purple and blue and white belts. Like, it's fun. Like, and that's when I started seeing this happen regularly, I was like, oh, I am getting really good at this. And I'm still not where I want to be. Obviously, I don't think I'll ever be happy with where I'm at. And there's a ton of people. I could name 10 or 15 people off the top of my head that are better than me right now. I'm not saying I'm the best or anything like that. I'm just saying that I'm at a point where I am a professional. Like, I am an expert at this, and this is what I do. And, like, I'm enjoying it, and I believe in myself now. Like, I believe in myself. I belong up there. I belong doing this. And I feel like maybe I suffered from maybe imposter syndrome or whatever for a little while, but I don't believe that's the case anymore. Now I think that I'm only going to get better because that's the plan. Like, what am I going to do, quit? What, you know, like, what? Like, now I'm too deep into this. I'm going to do it forever. I could stay right where I'm at forever and just roll. I'm going to get better. You just get better because you do it so much and you know what the reactions are, you know what they are. But I still want more, you know?
Right.
And I think that's why our school is the way it is because I'm hungry. I want more. I want more knowledge. I want to gather all of the knowledge and then bring it to you guys and then give it to y'all. And then I want to have to defend it against y'all or make it work while y'all are using the defense that I taught or whatever against y'all.
Oh, it makes me laugh. Like, when I'm rolling against someone and they attempt or do something that I showed them, and I just laugh in the middle of the roll. Like, people know I laugh during roll anyway, so the ones that have been here, they know not to take offense to it. Like, if you roll with me, I'm going to laugh.
Oh, my favorite is when they do something to you that you have done to them, but you didn't show them. They're just like, oh, she did this. Let me try it. And you're like, oh, my God, stop it. I didn't show you this yet for a reason. Leave me alone.
Like, you don't need to get that good that fast. This one is mine. I will show you later.
I have one girl, and I did it one time where I just stuffed her feet to her butt to pass. One time. And now, every single time she rolls with me, she tries to stuff my feet to my butt. Every time. Oh. So,
Nice.
yeah. Yeah, I've watched her grow a lot over the last couple of months, and it gets me so excited. She's doing so well.
That's awesome. Well, we keep talking about all the big changes and the big things that are coming up, and some of it's fell through.
Yeah.
Some of it is coming to life.
I know there's 3. I think me and Taylor talked about it, and we're going to start it in June.
Yes.
I didn't know this many were interested in private lessons. I'm the head kids coach, and a lot of kids, their parents want them doing private lessons. So I'm going to start doing private lessons in June, if anyone's out there. Yeah. And also doing a competitive kids class, and Taylor's doing a women's class. I think we're going to start all 3 here next month.
Oh, this is the first I'm hearing about you guys starting it in June. So
We had talked about it. We hadn't finalized it, but I think we're on the consensus June.
Yeah, give us time to, get it out there and all.
Right.
And we're just starting it. Like, I know our classes, we're just trying 1 day a week just to kind of see how it goes, build
Right.
up a group. And
Right. We're going to do competitive kids 1 day a week. She's going to do the women's class 1 day a week. And I'm just going to offer 2 time frames, like 2 days a week for the private lessons, because I don't want to get burned out. And I've never given privates before. Like, I've already asked you a couple questions about it. And instead of starting off strong, like 3 or 4 days, I start off 2. If I need to, I can add a third. But for 2, like the 2 blocks during the week would be just a good starting point.
yeah, I think you'll do well with privates because you work with our junior coaches a lot too. Like, I know, like, you've sat on the mat several times with them and went over stuff or worked on things with them. So I think it's going to be like teaching a class, except easier because you have 2 kids that actually want to be there and get really good at jiu-jitsu.
Unless their parents forcing them to be there.
I mean, there's always that, right?
There it is.
Well, I don't think that a kid that's showing up for private lessons is being forced. Honestly, like, I had one kid when I was coaching back in the day, coaching kids back in the day, and one kid that their parents made him be there, but while he was there, he worked because he knew that if he didn't, his parents would be upset because they're paying for those lessons.
Right.
So I think that you're going to do extremely well with that. I'm coaching at 10th Planet Perry Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So my schedule will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening. Then I'll teach those nights here. I'm planning on I want Fridays off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is going to be my family days. Like, Saturdays, Sundays, some of those will be like open mat days.
Right.
But now it's long enough that if I want to plan to go do something, I have time now because I won't be coaching 5 days, 4 times a day. Some days, like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I've been coaching 6 a.m., 4:30, 5:30, and then coming here 7:30. Like, I've been coaching that 4 times a day, twice a week. Then I've been coaching the other days twice a day, and now I'm getting to a point where I'm just gonna have 3 really busy days, and then I get to focus on my social media content, which is something that I'm passionate about. I enjoy doing this because it kind of gives me an outlet and lets me be honest with what I'm feeling. And then people can watch it and say, I like that dude, or they can watch it and say, I don't fucking like that guy, and he's arrogant, or he's whatever, and this is me. Like, you get to know me. I would never ever put myself on the level with certain guys, like, as far as being competitive or even being not that knowledgeable. There's guys that I look up to, right? But, like, I'm also that guy, like, you know what I mean? And I'm at a point in my life where, hey, you can see me for what I am, or you could get to stepping. I don't care anymore. I spent too much of my life worrying about what other people thought or whatever. I said this before. I didn't even advertise my gym the first 2 years it was open. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Like, I think I've said it on here before. Maybe I might not have.
We talked about it. I know you talked about it.
I did not even advertise because I was too worried about what other people that I trained with would think. It's like, oh man, I'm better than him or whatever. Like, I didn't even advertise. I was just like, hey, I'm opening the gym because the next closest one is 2 hours away or hour and 45 away or whatever.
Right.
Like, I was like, oh, I'm not good enough or whatever. I lack confidence. And now I'm starting to see, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, and I've been realized it for a little while now. Like, hey, I'm doing something that we're accomplishing something as a family, as a team, as a gym. And it started because I pulled the trigger and spent the money to open this place and do all that. And now I'm like, okay, like, hey, how many people in the world get to say that they've been under Gracie and the 10th Planet? Like, I got a brown belt in the gi. I got a brown belt in the 10th Planet system awarded to me from Steven. Like, how many people get to say that? How many people get to say, hey, I've been doing actual grappling for almost 20 years. And now I own a school and I make my living doing exactly what I love to do. I get to get up every single day of my life and do what I love to do. I don't have to go work a 9 to 5. I don't have to do any of that stuff. Some of the stuff that I got to do for the business sucks. It's time consuming and it's like, oh, God, like I just want to put somebody in that position to do it. But then some of the stuff I enjoy. I enjoy coaching. And with some of the gurus, it's like, oh, get yourself out of coaching position as fast as possible. And I'm like, man, I don't want to give it up. But I'm giving it up. I'm slowly giving it to places of guys. That way when I coach, people are like, oh, coach is here today.
Special class.
Yeah. And I feel like that's how it should be anyway. I rambled or whatever, but this is to me, having these conversations, I want to have these conversations to where we have other people talk about their journeys and when they had that aha moment, like I'm good, or I want to talk to you guys and hear about your aha moment, like start and realize you're good. Like I know yours was one day when some new guys came in and you was like, oh, I'm actually good. I didn't realize it because everybody's been growing with me, you know?
Yeah, I still have them. I done mentioned 2 here tonight. One was like, man, that submission was really tight. Well, that was one like, oh, I didn't do anything different than what I showed you to do. And then like private lessons, like just the fact that people are asking me, like, hey, can you give us a private? Like just the fact, like that makes me feel really good. Like I don't put myself on that level, but they do. They from the outside, they're looking in and they see that and they see me run the kids program and they're asking for it. Like I didn't advertise until they started asking for it.
Isn't it funny how the way you see yourself and the way other people see you, how different it is?
Yes, very, very. We need to get some more people here, and I want to get their perspectives. Like one in particular, he's one of our guys. He was away for a little bit, and I mentioned him getting on the podcast, but he couldn't tonight. But he's been away for a little bit, and he's finally getting back. I'd like to hear, what his thoughts are and getting back into it. You're talking about your tools get rusty, and I'm sure he's going through that right now.
Yeah, he's definitely going through that.
Yeah,
I can see it on him.
But he's still coming. Like he is that grind, and you can tell he's kind of beat up in the class, but he enjoys it. Like it's like when he first started, he's just going through that grind again, and he's still coming.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy watching people dig deep and make the change and do all that. And I like watching you guys. But I didn't realize, like, all of you guys look at me and like, man, Jimmy's so good.
Yes.
But to myself, I'm like, man, I suck so bad, and then I'm looking at my coach like, what can I do to get better? How do I move better? And it's just like, what do you want me to say? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you can position your head like an inch back, or you can turn your hands in, or like there's small things that you can change, right? Maybe you should wrestle more. Maybe you should go for the kill. No, I was actually told, stop killing everybody. Like,
I was about to say, I know someone didn't tell you to wrestle more because I know
all that he does.
That's part of your game is the wrestling.
Bunch of bullies telling me, I know we're going to tell you to wrestle more. Nah, but
did he tell you to wrestle more?
No.
Okay then.
He probably told you to stop wrestling.
I was told, this is what I was told. I was told stop killing. I was told, you don't have to kill all the time. Stop killing. He said, just because, you can get 5, 6, 7, 8 submissions deep, you still don't have to kill. It was like, I take the back. I go armbar, then I switch it to triangle. I switch it to top mount, go plata.
Catch and release.
I changed, not even catch and release. He said, stop killing so much. He said, settle and let them work and let them play their game and me react instead of me being ahead. He said, it's easy to be ahead. You know where they got to go. It's easy to say, once you understand the movement and the speed of what you're doing, slow down.
So he's wanting you to work more from behind. Let them get that position.
Let them get ahead. And then, not necessarily me reacting at that way either. Me just stop being so far ahead. Like, I don't have to get that far into the kills. Just move, gain position, make them a little bit uncomfortable, hang out. Yeah. Let them figure out the puzzle to get out. And when they start getting out, move. And not necessarily wet blanketing them and like killing them that way either, but play some on the bottom, play some on the top. You don't have to kill, and it's funny because 3 years ago, I didn't kill at all, ever. And I was being told, hey, kill. Like, finish people. You need to finish people. They need to know what it's like. Finish people. You don't finish people. You're not getting the finishes when you get there to the finishes because you haven't been finishing people. Start finishing people. Okay. So now I'm killing everybody. Back. Now it's, hey, stop killing everybody. Slow down. Play the game. So it's balance, and it comes down to, what are you trying to work on? Oh, and obviously I'm never gonna force something to happen anyway. That's why I go so deep in my toolbox with 5, 6, 7, 8 submissions, and I just know where I'm transitioning to, because that's kind of the game, right? That's how I play the game. Well, now I'm playing the game to where I just make you think I'm going to do something, and then I just stay there and let you figure the puzzle out. I'll let you make your move, then I'll make a move, then I'll let you make a move. And it's designed to help my opponent, but it's also to make me play from behind a little bit or play a more reactive game, like there in the moment, instead of thinking like, oh yeah, he's gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, then he's gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna grab his wrist, and then he's gonna, like, I think the roll through, and I shade my positioning to make it play out each position by, I know where my bites are. I know what reactions I'm going to get. If I get this reaction, then I'm going to do this. If I get this reaction, I'm going to do this. I know them. I've been doing it a long time. I know them, or I know what I'm going to do. I don't know everything or nothing like that, but I know what I'm going to do when I get these particular reactions. And I know when I get to these positions, this is the only things that they can really do, because this is where they're free. So I know where to go once I get to those home bases. And he's like, stop getting to your home bases. Stop wrestling for your home bases. Stop going to the kill, Anyway, that's what I'm working on now, is just trying to be in the moment and not necessarily. It's like, see what happens. Play. Stop killing. Just see what happens. That's what I'm doing. And I'm finding myself in weird, super weird positions. Like today, I was rolling with a guy. He comes in like once or twice a month. And I was rolling with him. And we were both laying on our sides looking at each other in the eyes. Like, I had my hand and my foot on him. He had his hand and his foot on me. And we were just laying there like. And it was like, okay, I could wrestle. He could wrestle. He's a wrestler. Like, we could wrestle. But neither one of us wrestled, so we started like leaning away from each other and pushing on each other with our feet. And then we ended up inverting, and like we walked our feet up each other and like turned. And then when we turned, we were side by side again, and we just looked at each other. It was the weirdest roll in the world. Like, I've never like really ended up that way in that particular way. I've ended up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just weird. And I'm finding myself in those positions more because I'm not gaining position, making them uncomfortable, gaining position, making them uncomfortable, and then killing them.
That's normal for me. Someone that, like some of our regular training partners, it's not about to win, so I try weird shit sometimes. Well, then if they give me weird reactions, we end up in weird positions all the time.
All the time. I'd be like, Bam Bam, what are we doing? I don't know. Let's figure it out.
Do it with Taylor, Jay especially, because he never reacts the way you expect.
Never.
And I'm like even tonight, he did something. I'm like, man, quit doing that Jay shit. I told him, like, quit that.
Calm
What
down.
was that?
Play the game with me. Stop.
You're not playing the game right. That's going to be one of our buttons.
You're not playing the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Taylor, what were some of your aha moments or some of your wins or some of your, like, I'm getting good moments?
One was that one you already mentioned.
Yeah, that one. And honestly,
I bet I know another one.
do you?
No, go ahead.
I can't think. Because I don't. Oh, are you talking about the one where y'all started picking on me?
Don't know. I'm talking about the one you hit a mounted guillotine on me.
Oh, I forgot about that
Yeah.
one. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
Yeah.
We were rolling, and, he was in my guard, and I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And I don't exactly remember, but I remember grabbing it, and we swept somehow. I don't know if I swept you or if you just kind of fell over.
I tried something weird, and then you reacted the correct way off my failed weird whatever I was trying, and we ended up there, and you called it. Like, you legitimately had it.
Yeah.
I tried some weird shit, and you're like, nah, get that out of here.
Not today, sucker. But I remember I was like, oh, I just did this to Bam Bam. Oh, and the other day when we were rolling and you tried to shake me off your back and I recovered with an arm bar, I was like, oh, how did I do that? Like, what? I don't even know what I just did. Like, just super excited about it. But even still, I didn't really start, which I guess I don't still feel like I'm really good at it. Like, starting this women's class, I'm like, am I really good enough to, like, teach these women?
Yes, completely. And let's say let's say the way you're scheduling it, like, I'll be here, but I'm not going to be on the mat. Like, I'm going to hang out in the back in the office or something. But, like, when I first started running classes, Jimmy was my safety blanket. Like, he was here still. And I could reach out if I needed to. So I'll be hanging out in the back because it's your class, but you'll have that, like, safety blanket.
Yeah, which I'm thankful for.
Now I'm just like, you're a purple belt. You do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's just like, whatever. Like, sure.
Out of class, whatever. Do privates, cool.
I'm just glad you guys are, like, figuring it out and, like, taking the leadership roles and, like, making things happen. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, we're making a lot happen. You see how many kids were on the mat?
Heck yes, Coach. Yes, I saw how many kids are on the mat.
Man,
It's
getting crazy.
we're to the point now, if all our kids actually show up on our comp day for kids, we'll have to run a single elimination. It's getting close to that point. We won't have time for double elimination.
So it'll be like it used to be.
We might have to recruit some of our dads and moms to help us, like our jiu-jitsu parents.
I was going to say, it won't get that bad. If we have all the junior coaches and then you help out, it won't get that bad. Especially because we'd have like 3 groups. But since we had that cutoff and we graduated the older teens to adult, we only have the 2 groups now.
So what do you guys think about whenever we remove the cage, blocking it off into like 3 mats, having like 3 red squares instead of 2 big squares?
First I'm hearing about it, I don't.
I just thought about it.
I was about to say,
I was just thinking.
what's your thought process behind that?
It would be easy. Or the 2 squares is like, we could separate the classes. We could put the beginners on one side and say this is for our white belt wall, and then put the purple belt questions and shit on the other side so they don't get too deep in the weeds. Because I promise you, when you ask questions sometimes and I start trying to answer your question, you get it. No one else does. It's like the purples, the browns, some of the blues.
I was about to say,
some of the blues, none of the new people, they're still trying to figure out, like, what do you want me to do with my foot? What do you want me to do with my knee?
What
I don't think of it like
position
that.
is this?
What am I supposed to do with my heel?
I guess I'm a selfish student.
No,
Like, I don't think about them.
It don't make you.
I don't think about them.
This is my journey.
It don't make you selfish, but it's funny because I'll give you exactly. I'll explain it to you so that you can understand exactly what's happening.
You just said I understand.
No. Think about when you first started and Dale was in class, or Dale would get in on one of his things. You can do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this.
And I'm like, please show the original move again. We've gone down a rabbit hole. Please show me the original move one more time. That way I know what we're doing.
Because you forgot.
I forgot.
Right.
Because I forgot. Like, wait, so what are we doing?
Go back to the beginning.
So and I remember asking that question. So what do you want us to drill?
That's my point. So I'll get in. I'm like, do this and this. And you're like, can't you do this? Can't you do that?
I don't say
and
like that. I'm like, do you ever, like, can you do this? I don't say can't. I'm like, can you do this too?
yeah. But I'm saying, it's like, can you do this? Can you do this? Like, yeah, you could do a headstand if you want. I mean, it might not be the best thing to do, but I mean, hey, it's an art, you know? Like, I seen Bryant hit you know how, like, I hit my cartwheel passes? Mm-hmm. I seen Bryant do it off of his head. Not making that up. He literally went head, grabbed my wrist as he, like, did a cartwheel off his head, used his head to cartwheel pass, and it was amazing.
Head on the mat.
Head on the mat. It was the weirdest, coolest thing. It looked like some parkour, like where he literally did a cartwheel on his head. Like, it wasn't hands, head cartwheel. And both of his hands, his first hand hit the mat to block my hip, so it curled. His second hand was reaching for my wrist or my collarbone. I don't know exactly what he was reaching for.
Yeah.
Because I seen him doing it and I moved away, and that dude just cartwheeled away. But he did it on his head. He wasn't even using his hands.
I mean, he is like a gymnast. Not literally, but Casey owns that gym, and he helps a lot with it.
No.
No, the Bryant tonight.
Bryant tonight.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other
that
Bryant.
makes it funnier.
That's what I was
Yeah.
like. Oh, I mean,
No.
he does gymnastics.
I'm going to have to go back and watch the security footage. I want to see this.
Dude, it was amazing. Like, I was like, did you really just hit a cartwheel on your freaking head? Like, without look, Ma, no hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, oh, that was cool. Anyway, that stuff happens. I'm starting to feel really, really confident in my ability to teach and my ability to do this forever. Like, my ability to coach, my ability to train, even my ability to compete at a high level. I didn't. 2 years ago, if you would have asked me if I was good, I'd have been like, I've been doing this a long time, but I don't feel like I'm Coach Jimmy, the person that I've been telling everybody I am. It's just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I didn't feel that way. And now I am getting in deeper rooms, and I'm realizing, like, oh, I outswim everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that sounds bad the way that I'm saying it. What I'm saying is that I had to drive 2.5 hours to train with a blue belt, and then 2.5 hours home. So I spent literally almost 5.5, 6 hours of my life, to train an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then drive back home. That's 5 hours in a day. And I was doing that, and I was doing it all over. I wasn't just going to one particular gym. I was doing it all over. And I always felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like I was going to a gym. I couldn't get used to the way certain people move because it's hard. Like, you guys are kind of blessed because I'm kind of giving you guys all the information that I acquired over these years and the small details that I had to kind of figure out, and you guys just kind of get them. So, like, something that took me 5 years to learn, like, hey, stupid, you have 2 hips. Like, you guys get it the first day. It's like, hey, check this out. cut yourself in half. You have 2 hips. Hey, check this out. You know, like bite with your heels, pinch. You're really tight here. Hey, push on the face. Don't be scared to push their head. Push their head. Like, you guys are getting all that stuff. And these are things that I didn't get. One, because jiu-jitsu was way different back then. Go back to like 2001, 2002, and when I really got into it, like hardcore training all the time, whatever, 2004, 2005. Go look at UFC.
Oh, I know. I
And
watch it.
look at the jiu-jitsu back then compared to the jiu-jitsu that you are seeing now. And you will be like, holy cow. Like, so it took me this long to get the information where it's just exploded. And there's, you can literally Google any move you want and see like 15 different variations. And then get to play with it and figure out which one works for you, you know?
Yep.
Anyway, I talked a lot. I kind of want to go eat. It's late. You guys look tired.
We didn't really have a game plan for this. We kind of just winged it. You know, we'll have more game plan though. The more podcasts we do, get more different variety of people on.
Oh yeah, it's coming. This is going to be a mainstay. So even if we do short clips and talk about the week, whatever, this is so people can get to know us.
Yeah,
We are the main staples in this gym. We got a few other guys that are always here that some of them don't want to be on the podcast. Some of them just hadn't had the time. But they will be on here. I'm going to have other guests that show up. I know Brent. I know Frank. I haven't talked to Kat. I know Kara's going to try to make time. We're going to have different people because I want to get people's perspective. I'm going to try to get Seth from 10th Planet. I'm going to try to get him to come. I just want different people's perspective, and I really do enjoy this. This is something that I actually, out of all the stuff that I do, this is something that I choose to do because I enjoy it.
Well, like we talked about last podcast, like it's therapeutic for you. Right.
Yeah, I kind of get the stuff off my chest. I kind of get to sit here and just kind of laugh at ourselves, and then, you know, laugh at how silly and how too serious we take ourselves sometimes. Like, hey, for a long time there, I didn't want to advertise. I didn't want to do all this stuff because, hey, I was taking it so serious. It's like I have to be perfect. And now I'm in these rooms. I'm like, man, what? No, I'm really good, and nobody's perfect. And there's guys that have choked me in half a second, and then there's guys that can't do anything with me, and like the belts are irrelevant. You know, I've been around it this long, and I've been doing it this long, and it's like our guys speak for what we're doing and how we're changing the game, how it's snowballing to what I wanted to begin with. So it's cool, and definitely looking forward to doing not necessarily the breakdowns, but I don't know if I said it, but the Trevor guy that's doing the editing, he's gonna teach me how to draw arrows on the screens and stuff, so you can kind of see where the pressure is and see I can
like football, play by play.
Yeah, like football. We're gonna stop it, change the angle or whatever. Like that's what my goal is.
That'd be cool.
That's what I want to kind of do with some of them. With some of them, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, you see here, this arrow right here, and that's where he broke his partner's nose. That's what we don't want.
Yeah. Yeah, like you see when he just did this forward roll and landed on his partner's face. In a competitive roll, this would be completely okay.
Yes.
But in here, when you're 280 pounds and you're rolling with a 90-pound child, this is probably not the best idea to. I'm just kidding. But anything you want to close with, Taylor? Like you've been sitting over there pretty quiet and just agreeing.
Well, I say we winged this one kinda. So
I did ask, when did you start feeling like you were a blue belt? Like when, or do you feel like you're a blue belt? Like I know you. When did you feel like you started getting high level? Because I remember I wanted you to tell your story about when you looked over there and was like, this is pretty fun.
I don't know. I struggled after getting my blue belt because I couldn't train and everything. So that was a big deal for me. Like coming back, it kind of felt like a fraud. But now that I'm being back and building my core women's group, and like, we've been kind of separating and working on things to the side instead of being a big part of class. So we'll split off. But once I started being able to break down those details and help someone else do a move, then I was like, oh, maybe I do understand this. Like, okay. And then I guess it just started clicking, and I was like, well, all right, there's more in there than I thought. Just kidding.
That's one thing that I would truly say is I'll never feel like I'm where I want to be. I'll never feel good enough. And yeah, even though like I'm sitting here going, oh, I'm good, really good, yeah. Now, when I'm sitting here saying this, like I'm good and I'm doing all this stuff, I still don't feel like I'm as good as I should be for as long as I've been training, or as I'm good as I should be for who what I've done or whatever. So I get that you still struggle, or everybody still struggles with feeling like where they are, but everybody's journey is different, and that for me, I've been really good. All you guys was like, he's really good, or Jimmy does this, or Jimmy does that, and then I'm like, yeah, but I'm doing that to people that are training with me. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like it never, until I started coaching at other schools, until I started going around more like I used to. I used to jump gym to gym until I opened this school. Now it's, whatever. But now I'm realizing like, oh, this is awesome. Anyway, Bam Bam, there's one specific time that I want you to talk about. It was like, I'll give you a little bit of a lead because I want you to talk about it. You may have already said it before, but you looked over at Mel. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. Still a white belt at that time.
Yes.
And we had some new people, and
by the way, this was when I decided, like, I'm probably going to promote these guys pretty soon.
We just had a group of new people, and we were rolling. And I had always been, like, the nail up to that point. Like, never on top during a roll, ever. And we had some new people, and I was actually on top and doing well and doing things that worked. Having a great time, and I just looked at Mel like, this is fun. Like, I'm having a great time.
It's weird. It's weird because you and Mel had that same win that day together. And that I've never seen that happen before. But so usually what it was is, in my opinion, I'm not sure, but you guys were like not y'all, like you said, you were the nails.
Yes.
And then you guys were growing, you were getting really good, but you didn't realize
because everyone else was growing
that you were getting good because everybody was get better together because they're learning the same stuff. And everybody was helping with kids class back then too.
Yeah.
And that's when you guys started really, really growing, is when you guys started doing the fundamentals in the kids class. Isn't that odd?
Yes.
But y'all looked at each other and was like, this is fun. And I was like, really? You guys are happy right now? But what it was is we had some guys that come in that was well over like 230 pounds that lifted weights every day of their lives. And like you guys just mounted them. They just burned themselves out, squeezing and like pushing in and like being super greedy. And y'all were just like floop, 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 flipping them and moving them. And y'all just looked at each other like, this is fun. And I'll never forget and then the conversations afterwards, because that's when you guys, I think it clicked that, hey, this stuff really works.
Right.
Anyway, that's Tech Talk. Guys, I'm going to try to get the intro. I'm going to try to get the sound so you guys get to see the little run. And
which it still cracks me up every time I see it.
yeah, it's so funny to me. I'm going to start doing that, putting that on the beginning of it, because I feel like it needs to have a little jingle or something. I still haven't decided whether I want to put some kind of like mellow music in the background of the podcast, like a low music like I do on the Coach Jimmy's. I hadn't decided on that yet. I haven't really heard a lot of podcasts with the music.
I hadn't either.
But I also know that the one podcast that I have heard with a very low bass, it sounds really good. It sounds super professional. So I'm going to play with this stuff. I'm going to play with the Coach Jimmy stuff. I'm going to try to get a little more interesting on there. I'm still streaming. We're streaming on Twitch right now. It's Coach Jimmy _TECT. We stream the podcast. We record the podcast. The podcast don't actually air on YouTube until the following Thursday at 9:15. It premieres then, and then it don't premiere on, or it don't upload to Spotify until the next morning, Friday morning. So you guys can listen there. If you don't want to watch the video, you don't have to. You can just listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music. And hey, support us. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell. It helps us out, and it lets us know who's listening to us.
And come check us out here at the gym. Yeah, come visit us.
Nice. That's Coach Bam Bam, Miss Taylor, and Coach Jimmy. Peace.